Hello, everyone. Uh, Thank you for joining Relaxing with Randy. I'm going to do a simple drawing today, just to show you that it doesn't have to be anything complex. It still look nice. And forgive the noise in the background. My wife is hammering, I think, some pictures or something up. So I apologize for that. Um, but anyway, let's get started. This will probably not take very long because of the simplicity. But we'll find out. Lady riding her bike here, and I'm trying to work on reducing the amount of time on the drawings. I've had some people say that they really enjoy the stories. They like the drawing, but more so the finished product. And so what I may start doing after today, I'm going to play around with it, and blow that up a little bit, is to do the drawing, either maybe start the drawing or maybe just do the completed drawing and talk about it when I show it, and then I can talk about a story that may or may not be related to the drawing. When I look at this particular drawing, I think of myself. I used to ride a bicycle everywhere when I grew up, and I grew up in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which is a fairly good-sized city. And I used to ride my bike from downtown, where I grew up at, and I would go all the way down the River Road being the Mississippi River, and get on a ferry 20 miles down the road, um, cross over to a town called White Castle, and in White Castle they had a hamburger stand right there at the ferry landing. And I'd go over and get a hamburger and a shake and fries, rest for a little bit, cross the ferry back over, and come back home. So basically, a 40-mile round trip to go get a hamburger. And it was great. I loved it. So, and that's what I think about anytime I see a bicycle. I also think about the time when I was riding my bike at the State Capitol Park, and I had a fairly new bike. It was it was a 10 speed. That was a real popular type back then, and what some people would call an English racer. That's what we called them when they came out. And so I was riding it at the park one day, and a dog started chasing me, and I was getting nervous because he was getting closer and closer, and I was trying to kick at him so he'd go away. Well, I was so focused on that I didn't see the parked car ahead of me, and I ran into the parked car. I fell over the handlebars onto the road. I was okay, but I was pretty banged up. The dog got scared and ran away. So, thank goodness for that. But, yeah, that's what I think about when I see this bicycle here. A bike was major transportation for me, especially in high school. Before I drove a car, which I was 15 when I started driving a car, um, I rode my bicycle everywhere. And my school was about 3 miles away, in an industrial area of Baton Rouge called North Baton Rouge, or Estruma, which is a old Indian name. And Estruma means red stick, and red stick is Baton Rouge. It's French for red stick. So the city of Baton Rouge actually has three names. It has Baton Rouge, which it's known by, which stands for red stick, and there used to be a red tree that was painted um, on the banks of the Mississippi. I can't tell you exactly where. I used to know, but I forget. And it would separate the boundary between the Chippewa and the Choctaw Indian tribes. And so I think it was DeSoto who was going down the Mississippi River, or maybe he was coming up, I'm not sure, and he saw that. And that's when he cried out, Baton Rouge, Baton Rouge. I could be wrong on the history about DeSoto. Maybe it was another person. I'm pretty sure it was DeSoto. But anyway, so what that has to do with a bicycle, I don't know. But I love history. I love talking about history, especially Louisiana history. That is one state that has some rich, rich history. If you like history, and particularly political history, read about Louisiana political history, especially in the days of Huey P. Long, who was the governor of Louisiana back in the 20s and 30s. And yeah, that was some pretty wild days. And there's always been wild days in Louisiana politics. I think they're having wild days right now, as a matter of fact. But I try to keep up with the news down there. I don't keep up as much as I should, but I try to watch it and listen to it when I can. I guess that's just something that people do with their hometowns. They try to stay on top of it. This is coming along pretty well here. There we are. So, getting back to the bicycling, I would ride my bike to school, and like I said, it was about 3 miles away. And there is a huge refinery in Baton Rouge, ExxonMobil. Back then it was just Exxon. When I was a kid, it was Esso, and they changed it. And there was a lot of pollution from what I remember. And I remember by the time I'd get to school in the morning, I would just have tears coming down my eyes because of the pollution that I had to encounter on my way to school from riding my bike. And it was pretty bad. So, but anyway, a lot of memories when you think about things like bike riding when you were a kid. And I really had a good time back then. That was so much fun. And the freedom to go wherever you want to go, that was the best part. And for some reason, you just thought you were like super fast in your head, as a kid. You just thought you can go as fast as a car, even though you couldn't. That's what you had in your head. You just thought, oh wow, because it was like your main mode of transportation. And you could feel that wind up against your face, and there's just no feeling like it, I tell you. Very nice. This lady here looks like she's more business than pleasure on her bike. I'm guessing she's either going to school or she's going to work. And by the look on her face, she looks like she might be a little late getting to where she's supposed to be. So, but she doesn't have really much of a pack there for schoolwork. So I'm thinking she's more like someone going to work. Maybe like an executive lady or something, and she wants to stay in good health, so she rides her bike to work. That's what it kind of looks like to me. And it's winter, because she's got stuff going on to keep her warm, with the scarf and the stocking cap and everything. So, there we go. Put it right there. Looks like she may have, no, I thought that was a nose ring, but that's just by her lips. So, take a look at that in just a little bit. Let's see here. Right there. Okay. That must be her dress underneath her coat. This is her pocketbook or her, I guess it could be her purse, but I'm thinking it might be a combination of her purse and her work papers or whatever that she's going to work in. How many people ride in the cold? Not a whole lot. And I used to ride in the cold and I hated it. Oh man. Your hands are cold. It doesn't matter if you have gloves on or not. And it's tough. Not a lot of fun there. The worst thing is your face. Man, I used to remember my face would get so cold. And, well, I didn't like that one bit. By the time I got to school, I couldn't even hardly feel my face on some days. And I was talking about how Louisiana gets that wet cold, which sometimes is worse than a dry cold. And someone said to me that they never knew that there was a wet cold down there. And yeah, because 40 degrees in Louisiana is not the same as 40 degrees in Arizona. Believe me. You do feel 40 degrees, because I used to live in a desert environment in Bakersfield, California, and 40 degrees would be chilly for sure, but it's just not the same as Louisiana 40 degrees. That's just, because it's cold, it goes right through you, especially when the wind blows. That's what I don't like. I still rather cold weather than hot weather. I do not like hot weather. Let's see here. Like her eyes. And there we go. We're all done. How about that? So it was a great picture. I really appreciate you being here with me today. I used a Happy Color app, which you can get on iOS or Google Play Store. And I hope you will subscribe. Just subscribe below to my channel. And if you liked what you see, give me a thumbs up. And any comments you may have, please write them in the comment box. Well, until next time, thanks again for joining. And I'll see you on Relaxing with Randy. Goodbye.